Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we're taking a look at the track Once in a Lifetime by the American rock and new wave band Talking Heads. This was one of the singles released from their fourth studio album Remain in Light from 1980, an album that really just still to this day holds an incredible amount of influence on artists that have continued throughout the years to cite it as one of the greatest albums to come from the 80s and probably one of the many great albums of all time, and it's been included in many lists that have really highlighted the significance provided from this single album. Many do consider this to be the band's magnum opus, and after the release of Fear of Music in '79, many people thought that David Byrne was just using the band as a way to just express his thoughts and ideas, but with this album they really showed their ability to kind of include some disparate genres, really draw inspiration from a lot of different key factors and really try something that many bands hadn't tried, something new, something very interesting, and also, as we'll find out through this track, certainly something very futuristic. So is this a track that only comes once in a lifetime or a frequent flyer? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground.
It really is one of those songs that really just has that element of fun to it, and I love how it has got this futuristic sound at the beginning with these just scattered elements really being thrown around. It almost sounds like a song from the year 3000, and you've got to really realise that when this song was released in the 80s, it just really had this strong futuristic effect that really kind of highlighted what you would see around the time, like these ideas of flying cars in the future. The sound really fit in with a lot of those themes that you would often see explored in films that were released around that time, or certainly a lot of sci-fi, so it really fit very well. And this is a song that was actually very much inspired by clips of an evangelical sermon that David Byrne used to hear on the radio. It's something he really used to put this into this song, really give it great effect as well. You can really see it in the first verse. He's asking kind of these questions, he's kind of reaching out to you, trying to grab you and get your attention and really pass on these messages, these teachings almost, asking this question of, well, how did I get here? Really showing the point that we are almost on autopilot. We get to stages in life and then look back and go, well, what's actually happened? The passing of time. It's something they really do focus on with this track. The fact that you can get to maybe 30 and go, well, where did the past 30 years of my life go? And there's often a saying that as you get older, time seems to go faster, and you just really don't really seem to realize where it's gone. And they make great use in the chorus also of water. It's something we see used heavily throughout this track. This idea of the passing of time. Water can't be stopped. Similar to time, it's one of those things that continues to go, letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Also linked in with the idea of pressure. Water kind of holding you down, the pressures of modern life, of trying to either fit in, trying to have all these mod cons almost, and this idea of into the blue again after the money's gone. When the money's run out, you effectively drown almost under the weight of debt. Or you could really look at that idea that you're freed once you kind of stop kind of relying on material possessions. So it's a track that is very ambiguous in its nature and its ability to look at different aspects of kind of modern life and really just the materialistic possessions that people often cling on to.
You may ask yourself, how do I work this? And you may ask yourself, where is that large automobile? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground.
And with verse 2, I love how we see, and you may ask yourself, how do I work this? You can have all these mod cons, these fancy cars, these really high-end technologies, but you don't always know how to work them. Sometimes they can be just simply for show and tell, and I like how it really touches again on the idea of autopilot. This is not my beautiful house, this is not my beautiful wife. You just really get to that point where you're realizing, hang on a minute, this isn't the things that I signed up for, this isn't the things I expected, and life can often do that. It kind of can take you in directions that you don't expect it, because you're just kind of on autopilot, you're just kind of just going forward, not really always thinking about what you're doing. You can end up in a position 15 years down the line where you think, well, how did I actually get here, and this isn't what I want, but you've just kind of reached that point already. And I love the way the track really does that, and it really has this great flow tied in with the water. It's a very interesting mix with David Byrne's kind of almost cold delivery on some of the vocals that we do have, but really tying in with this much more strong backing vocal chorus that really feels very inclusive, and it really just has this nice lullishness to it that really guides you along in the track. And this idea of touching on once in a lifetime, the idea that you do only effectively get to live once. Don't just kind of let you just go on autopilot, don't let it kind of just wash it away almost, kind of make the most of it, live in the moment, and really just kind of absorb everything you can from life, because you only do get that one chance.
Same as it ever was, 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 same as it ever was.
Letting the days go by, letting the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the body's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground.
You may ask yourself, what is that beautiful house? You may ask yourself, where does that highway go to? And you may ask yourself, am I right? Am I wrong? And you may say to yourself, my God, what have I done?
And you can really see this continued development. I love how in the bridge we do get this same as it ever was, just on repeat, really highlighting the monotony of life, just going over and over, doing the same thing day in, day out. And some people do live like that, just they do the same cycle, they never break it, never try anything spontaneous, and you can kind of just move through life until the point where you just look back and think, I haven't really achieved anything or done anything, because you've just been running the rat race almost, living on this hamster wheel and just letting life really take you by. It's something they do very cleverly to really, again, just show this monotony, just this repetitive lyric on this really strong delivery from David Byrne. The vocals really do help this song really stand out with this almost frantic and cold delivery, really highlighting that idea of the sound, trying to reach out to you, almost kind of change your mind and really convince you and persuade you otherwise to take a different approach to life as a whole.
Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again, into the silent water, under the rocks and stones. There is water underground. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground.
Same as it ever was, same as it ever was, same as it ever was. Look where my hand was. Time isn't holding up, time isn't after us. Same as it ever was, 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 same as it ever was. Once in a lifetime.
Yes, it really was a very, very iconic track, one that really just kind of set the band apart and really just continued to show their development and their ability to explore a lot of different ideas on Remaining Light in 1980. And I just love the use of this water, this idea of once in a lifetime, really showing the passage of time in such a strong way that's really able to highlight this idea of not just living life on this hamster wheel, not just letting the day-to-day monotony really drag you down. And again, this use of water, showing the passage of time but also the idea of being held down, under pressure almost. If you're going to the bottom of the ocean, really just kind of under that pressure to have these nice things, to live this beautiful life, to follow this cycle of kind of college, university, get married, have kids, things like that, and just not kind of just live life to the fullest. And it's something they really touched on very cleverly through a lot of interesting lyrics. Also the dance moves of David Byrne, which was caught on quite a little bit and did become a sort of dance that people kind of tried to adopt from the video and really just kind of emulate those styles and really just show that. It was a fun little quirky thing they did include in this track. But even in the musical sense, really just showing in the beautiful layering of guitars, key elements, and really just kind of emulating just a real strong sense of what it's like to really do this same cycle day in, day out. And even with the lyrics, a lot of them being very repetitive, certainly in the bridge, but did show to beautiful effect, really just the ability to kind of get off that hamster wheel, and really just doing it through this sermon style as well was kind of the icing on the cake to really just kind of reach out to the listener, to really try and grab them and take on a very different style in the vocal delivery that stood out amongst many of the other tracks that were released around the same time. So that will be everything for today's video, but as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. And if you haven't heard Talking Heads before, you must have been under a rock or something, because they are one of the most influential acts of the past 40 odd years. But if you haven't, really do check out Remaining Light, check out the album in its entirety, you will not be disappointed. Some great tracks on there. Cross-Eyed and Painless is another one that really stands out to me. It's just something so unique as most of the album is. It is really, really worth a listen. And as always, if you'd like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next Dojo Analysis.